Turn it up. We got our next match coming up here on Match Point, game number 3.
Match Point game number 3. Our very own caster buddy Gorgonoth versus BossRoss. Another B team match here, and now we're going to shift gears into PvT.
Yeah, the matchup I'm a little more comfortable with. You might struggle a bit, but it's okay.
My Zerg knowledge will definitely be useful here. Don't worry.
Oh, for sure. So yeah, I was helping Gorgo. Actually, we'll introduce the players first here. So bottom left, we have our teal Protoss, Probe King, aka Gorgonoth, another one of the casters for the league.
And in the top right, BossRoss, the blue Terran for Team No1CareThat.
Yeah, we saw BossRoss do an interesting cheese on crossing fields to actually clinch the win for his team, or clinch the ace match, sorry, for his team to go to ace. That I don't know if you saw that proxy barracks on crossing fields top right. He just
I did
all
see
in
that.
Vic there. That was pretty interesting strat. So we'll have to see if he does some kind of cheesy if he wants to play straight up here.
Yeah, that's one of the cool things of the CPL format is, you can research your players, especially since this season we've actually managed to cast pretty much all of the games. Then there's a lot of games to draw on for the active players where if you know who your player is and you've seen him do that cheese on this map, it's something to watch out for. So I love that, you have that opportunity to prepare at that level. I'm sure that Gorgo saw that game. Obviously this is a different map and it's a slightly different situation, but you know this is a player who's capable of pulling that out.
Yeah, and it is another 2-player map too, so something just to take note of. Now, I was helping Gorgo a little bit prior to this match. He wanted to learn how to do an aggressive build, a 10-15 gate. I'm not sure if he's going to end up going for that or not. It's not the best choice on this map just because Terran has the option to kind of wall off their choke pretty easily and then just siege up behind it, and then they're just going to be way ahead. They're going to be ahead in economy, and if your 10-15 doesn't really do any damage, you just put yourself behind. So we'll have to see if Gorgo does that. We did work, like I said, for a few hours on this, so interesting to see if he goes for that or plays something more standard.
Yep, and we do see BossRoss doing a fairly standard sim, getting that barracks depot combo, shoving his SCVs a little closer to midline when they spawn as well. So he's looking like he is going to play standard. This Rex is not anywhere near Gorgo's base, so he's good there.
Yeah. Not yet anyway. Maybe
Not
we'll see
yet.
if he's going to
Not
go
yet.
build a few more racks.
Gorgo in chat saying
Rock
Drag
back.
wouldn't let him 10-15. Dragon is a tough coach, but he does know best. It is tough to do 10-15 on this map, as you were saying, so you may have thought that was just a bad idea.
Yeah. Dragon a little influential there. Just to play standard straight up. It's not a bad choice. Like, I tend to agree. I mean, you could possibly do it, but you need to know how to transition to whatever Terran's going to do, and there's a possibility you just put yourself behind right away. So
yeah, and I think for most B team matches, if you're gonna do something off of the standard path, it should really be designed to kill. Because transitioning out of a quote-unquote failed cheese is very difficult. It requires a lot of on-the-fly thinking, a lot of game knowledge, and that's a place where if your opponent is playing standard and now you're off kilter because you didn't kill him, you're probably at a disadvantage.
For sure. Definitely. But it does look like Gorgo is not doing the 10-15, and as he said, Chad, he's not doing it. So he's playing, pretty standard stuff here.
Yep, and we do have the first goon out as well, so that scouting SCV will go down. It's already seen what it needs to see. I like this Marine. This is kind of interesting. Just checking for proxies, I guess. Just going down this bottom right corner of the map. He had the scouting SCV, so he knew he wasn't at risk and could just go for that. So I like that from BossRoss, showing he's very aware of the situation.
Yeah, for sure. I would like to see him maybe send another scout here in a little bit. There is something Terrans would like to look for is, Protoss taking that Nexus at 28, which I'd like to see Gorgo doing pretty soon here. It looks like he's going to send the probe. Or is he going to do like some tech or something more aggressive? Like, is he going to go up to 3 gates? Is he teching the DTs behind this? Just so you can prepare. But it looks like Gorgo's going to play it completely standard here and go for that 28 next.
This bunker out from BossRoss is a little late. It should be in time this game, but you know, that's because Gorgo kind of waited for his 2 goons. You could definitely do some damage with a single goon if this bunker wasn't ready, and it's just barely gonna get up. I mean, that is some risky play.
Yeah.
Also, there's not any SCVs coming down to repair. So once goon range is done, the tank is out. Yeah, this is risky. This is really risky. You know, strong goon control can absolutely punish this.
Yeah, and I mean, Gorgo could have just ran past too and got around, tried to pick off that tank with his first tank with his 2 goons. Which, I mean, is a pretty big win for Protoss if you can get that. But as it is, I mean, both players are going to be standard. BossRoss is going to be fine. He's not going to just straight up die here to any early goon pressure.
Yeah, once the tank is out and the bunker is out, turn's looking pretty good. This is a pretty far up siege. So there is some risk there. Like, again, just kind of risky play. You know, a really strong Protoss will gather up enough goons to kill that tank quickly and just walk up and snipe it. And they just back off and kill your bunker, and what are you gonna do?
Yeah, so it takes 8 goon shots to kill a tank, so now that like Gorgo has 4 here, if he was aware of this, he could just step up, shoot the tank twice, and then run back.
He's actually
It
gonna
looks
go
like
for
he
it.
might do it.
There's a second tank now, and he's gonna back off, so that is a win for BossRoss. But you know, Boss has just been playing it close to the wire. That timing window was barely open, and this game could look completely different if Gorgo could capitalize on it. But unfortunately for him, he did not. And now with 2 tanks, the situation is very different. The goon pressure is pretty much over.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be trying to pick off these tanks anymore. Especially now there's like a supply depot here too and stuff, just helping to wall it in, or wall the Terran in, making him a little bit more safe.
Yeah, but we do have both players mining pretty comfortably from 2 bases. It looks like Boss's SCV saturation is pretty good. Gorgo's looks decent as well, so both players keeping up with their macro. Spending down as well, pretty good stuff, about 7 minutes into the game, and it's looking like a standard TVP.
Yeah. Next thing I want to look out for is what's Gorgo going to transition to next. Is he going to go for... Okay, it looks like he is going to go for a 2-base Arbiter potentially build here. This is around the time where you need to decide, okay, are you going to go for that 3rd Nexus and play, you know, a little bit, you know, greedy to stay ahead of Terran in expansions, or are you going to go for some higher tech and stay ahead of Terran in the tech? Basically, you want to make sure you're ahead of Terran in either tech expansions or overall gateways versus factories. So in this case, it looks like Gorgo's opting for the tech route, although he's even on gateway, so I'd like to see there's some more gates coming up soon or an expansion, and he is going to go for the expansion, it looks like.
Yeah, and this is good play. I like you know, going for that option here. Losing a couple goons at the front carelessly, that's a bit unfortunate. They're just a little bit too close to the forward tanks. And it did see BossRoss get a couple of scans into the main, so he saw exactly what was going on. And there's probably no opportunity for either player to do damage anytime soon with the way this is going. Boss might try to go for a push, but against a 2-base ARB, it's really not easy to time. We do have 5 factories coming out pretty soon.
Yeah. So I was gonna say, yeah.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, going back to what I say. So now Gorgo is seeing this, and because Gorgo is still on 3 gateways here, he is adding another one now. But because Boss is gonna be up.
Oh,
that was close.
That was really dangerous. Sorry.
No, it's all good. He's actually going up to 6 factories. This does open up a window for Boss to do some pretty significant damage because Gorgo delayed his additional gateways by going for 2-base ARB and a fast 3rd. It does, I mean, if Boss moves out with these 5 fact units all at once, he could definitely find some damage.
Yeah, I don't see the armory out yet either. Engineering bay coming up now, so Boss is really just investing into units, not going for those upgrades, which are pretty big in TVP. But like you say, Gorgo delaying those gates. He's been on 3 gates for a while. He's got the 4th gate running now, adding 2 more. But that's going to give Boss a couple of cycles to really get some unit advantage. And with these goons dying at the front, this is getting a little scary.
We do see, I mean, his Boss's spending isn't the best. He's up to 1,000 minerals. If that was, you know, a few more tanks and a bunch of vultures, right now he could push across the map and, you know, post up on the high ground above the third there and just kind of take out this Nexus, and there wouldn't be a lot that Gorgo could do about it
Absolutely.
without some good delaying or good controls. So
I'm a little curious about this unit movement. I'm not sure where he's aiming to hit this direction. You know, you can siege here on the low ground, but there's almost nothing you can hit. Vultures are going to harass this Nexus, but there's no probes here. Probes are just getting transferred now, and Goons and Observer are going to clear out those mines. So Gorgo taking very little damage here. And I don't know. He pushed out of his natural, but he's not really doing anything with his army.
yeah, I mean, you can see the supplies are pretty close, a lot closer than they should necessarily be at this point in the game in a PvT. But because Boss isn't really doing anything with his army, I mean, he's got a bunch of tanks and a couple vultures at the bottom there, and he's got like a bunch just sitting as natural. Because I think we saw another game like this where the Terran just took too long to push across, and it gave the Protoss enough time to make up for his disadvantage.
There's this weird little skirmish going on at BossRoss's third. Like, Gorgo had goons there for some reason, and they just killed a tank. I'm not really sure why these goons are even here, but there they are. I guess they're trading okay if they're killing tanks. Just the presence of those, I think, did delay BossRoss's third. Another goon coming in. What is happening?
Maybe it's just a bad rally.
It might be a bad rally. But
Yeah.
these units have just been chilling. I mean, they're actually not in a position to even help out this tank. This Vulture tank are going to get collapsed on. These
It's
tanks
almost
are
like
not
he forgot
sieged.
about them.
This could be really bad for BossRoss. Although Gorgo is not targeting the tanks. He's hitting
He
a lot
should've-
of tank shots.
And now he's got army going a weird path.
Oh my goodness.
Half his army. Yeah, so his like army is pretty uncoordinated here. He's gonna clean up these goons. So I mean, Gorgo's certainly not gonna kill him or anything. He's gonna actually trade pretty inefficiently at the end of that. But I mean, if BossRoss had all his army together and positioned correctly and ready, like he would have just destroyed Gorgo's army and been able to walk over and probably just kill Gorgo at this moment. So.
Yeah, and two vultures here could kill all these pros. They're actually killing a pylon. Meanwhile, Boss is pushing down to the small ramp. And there's some units here to hold it, but this is going to be a really tough position for Gorgo to push out of.
Yeah, I mean, despite that, BossRoss could still set up something decent. Despite, he did give Gorgo a lot of time though, which does work in his favor. But okay, he's gonna
Yeah,
pull
and
back
actually,
again.
I like this. So he clears out the top, his third there, and he forces the siege a little bit low from where Boss wanted to push to. So this is buying him a lot of time, and you know, Terran pushes are really tough to manage. So every time you force a siege is a win for the Protoss.
Yeah, and this is exactly what you want to do as Protoss. When you're in a bad position, you know, Terran's got this scary-looking army. You just kind of want to force sieges and delay it.
There's
Nice
shuttle
pellet
bombs.
bomb. Nice. Does get one tank there. Might get another too.
Yeah, forcing the unsiege and the retreat is nice. These are only tanks. They're running back to a minefield, but they're actually sieging inside of it. They really need to be behind that.
Yeah.
Like,
One zealot bomb in there. Oh man.
yeah, he already saw that Gorgo has this, the shuttle and the zealots and is willing to use them. So this is really dangerous.
And Gorgo does see this minefield with the ob, so I would have loved if he dropped just one zealot or a couple zealots in there. You'd kill probably all of Terran's army right there.
Yeah, no
like two
Goliaths. There's really
Oh,
nothing
man.
Terran could do about that right now. So that's sort of a missed opportunity. We'll see. I mean, he's still there, so I guess the opportunity's not gone. But meanwhile,
Yeah.
Basta has not secured that third, even though he was making moves for that a long time ago.
Yeah, and as we can see from like what we were saying about Rock last game, look at the saturation of SCVs at the natural there. He's only got like one SCV per patch again. The main isn't too much better.
Yeah, he
So-
was doing okay. He seems to have bled a couple of SCVs somehow, and just stopped production a little too early. Because when we checked, you know, back in when they were transitioning to mid, both players had good saturation. Now Gorgo's got plenty of probes. In fact, he might have too many. Maybe good enough for a fourth base. Oh, we do have a push coming in. These tanks are still on siege. Zealots are running in, so he might have needed to drop. Oh, geez, those tanks
Nice
are taking
mine.
a ton of damage from mines.
Yeah, pretty good flank. And now Gorgo's getting himself into a good position. Like he's pushing the Terran back. The Terran still doesn't have a third base, so Gorgo's setting up to take a fourth.
Yeah, this game has been really back and forth. Both players have really not been managing their armies well. So just in terms of unit numbers, you know, fights should be going one way and they're going the other way. And I really have no idea how to call this at this point because, you know, we have this almost hidden base out from BossRoss. He's got two tanks, which aren't going to be able to do anything if Gorgo sees that. But at the same time, like, I can't judge who's going to win these fights because Terran is being very, very aggressive with his tanks, not really covering them. And occasionally Gorgo is like on move command with bad rallies. He's bled a lot of units. You know, one bad move command can absolutely lose a game.
For sure. Like, I would say Gorgo's maybe a little bit ahead here, but he's had his Arbiter tech for a while and just started the Arb. He's also getting Recall. I don't know if he got anything else first or if Recall's the first upgrade he's going for there or not. Not sure. Yeah, it could definitely still go either way this game, though.
Yeah, because if we remember the builds, like, Gorgo was getting his Citadel before the third, like, kind of keys into a faster Arb. But he's been mining from that third for a good amount of time now, and the first Arbiter is popping. So just a little bit off in terms of what the build is aiming to do. You know, if you're going for the style, there's really no need to get that tech out as fast as he did.
For sure. Yeah, especially because he got that second gas early. That's like, okay, I'm gonna need a lot of gas.
Oh, we have a Probe Massacre.
Oh no.
Yeah,
I mean,
at this stage in the game, all probe lines need to be guarded by at least a couple cannons or goons. Although BossRoss is not going to control. Oh, we got a little bit of lag there. He's not going to control the initial vultures. I still got you, Snipe. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Snipe. I might have lost Snipe on the call.
Hello?
Snipe, can you hear me? Alright, well, I'm going to keep casting for now. That is a lot of zealots, and again,
I
tanks are on siege.
I can't hear you.
Alright, I'm gonna have to figure that out. I don't want to open the replay panel. Does anyone know how to pause on hotkeys? We're gonna just cast from chat, guys. Oh my god, what a blast onto the Terran army. That's awful. Alright, no one look.
Keep going, I'll try and fix my mic here.
Oh, it's him. Alright, 1 second, guys. Technical difficulties.
Hello, hello, hello.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can.
We did it. Yeah, I saw a spot of lag and then we lost it somehow.
Yeah, that was weird. Lost the connection or something.
Yep, so in the interim there, Gorgo just smashed that army. And it was kind of the same thing. You know, BossRoss is not being careful with his pushes. He doesn't have his vultures set up in front, he doesn't have enough mines, and he's not sieged in time.
Yeah, and that's a very important part of a Terran push. You got to make sure, you know, the Protoss can't get a good flank on you, or if they do, they're going to take a lot of damage from mines, or, you know, have the vultures buffering for your tanks.
Yeah, but even still, you know, Terran is the defensive race, and he has his 4 CCs up. It's 4 bases versus 4 bases. He just took a giant smack and barely has any army, but if he can get these defenses set up, it's still a game.
For sure. We do have the first Arbiter out for Gorgo, and he does have recall, so we'll have to see. He's got a little bit of energy to go still for that. He has enough just for a stasis, which is why I hope you got stasis before recall in terms of upgrading, but I'm not sure. Because you won't have the energy for recall anyway. By the time you upgrade recall and stasis, you will have the energy for both. So may as well get stasis first so you can use defensively. But we'll have to see. I mean, I think his plan here is just to kind of build up an army and go for a big recall in Boss's main, and he doesn't really have any defense for it at the moment. No mines or anything.
It doesn't really have any defenses anywhere after losing that army. So Gorgo is going to go for the kill here, it looks like. Will he be able to get it? The boss is sending as many units as he can to stop this, but you know, you really need tank siege and mines already placed. You can't scramble to get defenses as a Terran player. There's just so many zealots here. You know, a few well-placed mines would kill every single one of these. But they're just going to get on top of these tanks. And this base is absolutely forfeit. At the very least, he has to lift it and try to escape.
Yeah, he does have more and more reinforcements coming, and he does have a few mines. He might be able to stop Gorgo's army, but he's going to take a lot of damage. Like, he's losing everything he's got, and actually I'm not sure he's even going to be able to stop this. He just lost all his reinforcement units there as well. Loses the command center. Not looking good for Boss at the moment.
Yeah, so that's a good point there. Like when you have crushed a Terran push, you need to do some damage. Terrans can absolutely just grow back into a defensive position if you let them, so you need to keep the pressure on, which Gorgo did very nicely there. Gonna push up into this base. There's still just those 2 tanks to defend.
We got a recall coming too.
And there's a recall, so Gorgo's turning it on, and he's got plenty of units. That's actually a pretty small recall, but just by spreading the army at both corners of the map, I think it's going to be quite effective.
Yeah, no Dragoons with it. I'd like to see him maybe target that spinning armory, especially because that upgrade is almost done. That'd be a really nice pick-off if he did, those Zealots, but no, as is, I mean, he's just got Boss spread out all over. You know, he's got units in Boss's main. He's killing this 4th CC, and Boss is just, he's getting flustered. I mean, he can't send units everywhere, and Gorgo's just doing damage everywhere. So.
Yep, that is one of the problems when you lose your army as a Terran player. You know, everything just starts crumbling. So I think, once again, Boss didn't have enough stuff as well as some of his control, but his SCV count was just not high enough going to late game. Like, the goal should be to have saturated 4 bases when you're going for 4 bases. You know, 3.5 if you're gonna mine out of your main, you know. But we saw Boss was basically on a 3, maybe 2.5 base economy with the SCV count he had, whereas Gorgo actually has a very healthy probe count. Just mined out of his main, he's going to be mining out of his natural, so he should be looking for an expansion, even though the game is practically over. But that is the amount of workers that you really should have. So if you look at the supplies and the money, he's actually doing quite a good job spending it as well, with a good count of gates now, and just has way too much stuff. He's overwhelming Boss.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Boss did clean up the force in his main, but he's just taken way too much damage, and Gorgo has another big army just barreling down on the front here of Boss. Okay, didn't lose that ARP. He has enough for a stasis, so he could even just stasis. Not that he really needs to at this point, although Gorgo's got like a bunch of his army just kind of hanging back at the moment.
ARP is going to die to those Marines. That's a little unfortunate. Didn't get the spell off, but it really doesn't matter. I think it is too much at this point. A shuttle coming in as well to help break this position, but there's just nothing. Boss is completely out of army, and that is definitely going to be GG there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Gorgo just has too much. He's continuing to produce units, and then we got the GG coming from Boss.
Yeah, so it was a solid game. You know, both players had a really good build going into mid, but I think both players played kind of sloppy with the unit control, which is such a big deal in this matchup particularly. And then Boss just needed more SCVs to get that 3rd on time.
For sure.
When we disconnected, I think was the big turning point, though. Like, as a Terran, you can't lose that much army for nothing. That is just a critical blow.
Oh, for sure. All right, and that, I think that was, yeah, like you said, turning point, kind of where Gorgo took control of the game and was able to run over Boss.
So with that, Beast is now up. That's 2-1 lead for Team Beast versus No1CareThat. B team putting in some work.
Yeah, that's 1 game closer for them now.